So hello guys and welcome back to Equi Edge Research, where we share cutting edge insights for you across different sectors, overall economy, and we try to decode some stock market psychology. So guys, we are moving towards the next video of our daily update series, and today we are going to talk about a very important news, that is Uber partners with Adani to create its first ever data center in India. So basically guys, the Indian infrastructure story may have just entered a very new story, a completely new phase, because Uber is now preparing to establish its first India-based data center, and its partner is none other than the Adani Group. It is very important to understand. At the first glance, this may look as a simple infrastructure partnership, but beneath the surface, this deal is actually sitting at the intersection of multiple long-term themes like artificial intelligence, cloud infrastructure, digital sovereignty, mobility platforms, enterprise logistics, and India's rising positions in the global market stack or the global technology stack. And not only this, and this is exactly why this development deserves much more deeper attention. Uber CEO Mr. Dara, during his Indian visit, confirmed that the company plans to build a major data center in partnership with the Adani Group, which is going to be operational in the later this year. The facility is expected to be operational this year, and it will help Uber to deploy technology solutions not just for India but potentially for the global markets as well. Now the first important question is why? Why is suddenly Uber investing in India? The answer lies in the scale. India is already one of the Uber's larger markets globally by trip and volume, and unlike mature Western markets, India still has massive offers for long-term opportunities across mobility, delivery, hyperlocal logistics, enterprise transports, transit integration, and AI-led mobility optimization. In fact, Uber now facilitates more than 1.2 billion trips annually in the India and works with nearly 1 million active earners every month. But the bigger strategic shift is this: Uber is no longer positioning itself just as a ride-hailing company. It is slowly transforming into a broader mobility and logistics infrastructure company, and this is where the business to business logistic opportunity becomes extremely important. According to the reports, Uber now plans to aggressively expand in B2B logistics and transit ticketing businesses in India. Now think about the implications of India's logistic ecosystem is still highly fragmented. Many SMEs, retailers, and businessmen continue to face inefficiencies in the last mile delivery, fleet utilization, route optimization, and urban mobility integration. Uber possesses massive mobility data, driver networks, route intelligence, pricing algorithms, and real-time data insights, and the demand forecasting capabilities. If the company successfully layers enterprise logistics services on the top of this infrastructure, it could unlock an entirely new revenue engine beyond the ride sharing. And this is precisely why data centers become strategically important, because modern mobility platforms are no longer powered only by drivers and vehicles. They are powered by data, AI models, real-time computation, and cloud infrastructure. Every trip generates enormous amount of information: traffic patterns, rider behaviors, pricing elasticity, fleet efficiency, delivery optimization, and predictive safety analytics. Owning localized data infrastructure allows Uber to reduce latency, improve AI deployment, comply with data localization and regulations, strengthening operational resilience and potentially lowering long-term cloud dependency cost. Now let's talk about what Adani Group gains from this partnership. For Adani, this is not just a real estate or an infrastructure transaction. This is a part of much larger ambition of becoming one of the India's core digital infrastructure enablers. Over the last few years, Adani Group has aggressively expanded beyond ports, airports, energy into data centers, AI infrastructures, and cloud ecosystems, industrial digitalization, and consumer-facing super app ecosystems. and two platforms becoming very important here, Adani Connex and Adani One. Let's understand Adani Connex. And Adani Connex is India's or the group data center joint venture with Edge Connex, a global data center operator. The platform was created to build hyperscale enterprise grade data infrastructure across India. Now, why is this strategically very important? Because India data's consumption is exploding due to AI adaptation, OTT platforms, cloud computing, fintech growth, digital commerce, and enterprise digitization. As more companies shift AI-led operations, the demand for localized computing power and the cloud infrastructure will rise exponentially. And Adani wants to position itself as the foundational infrastructure layer for the digital economy, similar to how it became critical in the ports and energy infrastructure. So Uber becoming a customer or a strategic partner inside the ecosystem strengthens Adani Connect's credibility and significantly. It signals that global technology companies are willing to trust Adani infrastructure capabilities for mission critical operations. Now let us come to Adani One. Adani One is the group integrated customer platform ecosystem. Initially built around airport services, the platform is gradually expanding into a broader digital super app strategy. Think about what Adani controls today: airports, passenger movements, mobility, infrastructure, energy systems, digital payment touchpoints, and potentially deeper mobility integrations. Earlier, Uber and Adani has already announced integrations involving airport operated airports, Adani operated airports. Now, this deeper partnership could potentially create a much larger mobility tech ecosystem over time. For example, airport ride integrations, multimodal transit systems, logistic coordination systems, business travel ecosystems, and AI-enabled urban mobility services. In simple words, Uber brings the technology layer and the mobility intelligence. Adani brings the physical infrastructure layer and the larger ecosystems access. And when the digital platforms combine with hard infrastructure, entirely new business models emerge. But there is even a deeper layer to the story. Global technology companies are increasingly diversifying infrastructure away from the concentrated geographies, and India is now as emerging strategic digital infrastructure destination because of policy support, lower operating cost, massive digital demand, and great volume of the youth and the youth population. So this partnership is not just about one data center. It reflects India's transformation from being a consumer internet market to becoming a global technology infrastructure hub. And from an investor perspective, this deal highlights something very important: the future value creation and value migration that has happened, which created opportunity, may not lie only in apps or platforms anymore. Value may shift towards underlying infrastructure powering AI mobility, cloud computing, and enterprise digitization. And both Uber and Adani appears to position themselves aggressively for the future commitments. Guys, we need to understand this on a very good scale, that Adani or any companies like Adani, people are actually trusting India. And what is the reason to that? India has got scale, India has got consumption, India has got lower operating costs. Why lower operating cost? Because India's labor cost is quite low as compared to other countries. Why low? Because in India the population is currently very much high and the jobs are very low, and hence there is a lot of competition for those lower jobs. And now the power for actually acquiring those labor is in the hands of the company and not to the local people. That is the reason there is a high lower operating costs in India. So we have to take these different things into consideration. We also talked about the value creation that has been happening, which is happening from the apps and other devices to the mobility and infrastructure, and not only the AI infrastructure, but also the B2B businesses in the logistics. Both of the companies, either we talk about Uber or we talk about Adani Group, has got significantly a good amount of interest in this partnership. Uber is getting high volumes as well as good new businesses in the markets, as well as Adani is trying to get itself positioned at the first AI infrastructure layer builder in the Indian markets. Both of them has significantly found win-win situations to win in the Indian markets. Uber got entry in the Indian B2B logistic markets and also stopped itself positioning as a normal consumer-driven mobility to a B2B, that is business-to-business mobility, which also includes heavy material logistics. For example, we can take as steel or wood of making it travel from one place to another for business purposes, etc. So these are a lot of things which are changing in the markets, and I feel it is very much important to be updated with all of these, to be a right person to invest in the markets. If you feel like you don't want to give a lot of efforts in terms of learning and understanding what is happening in the markets, you should rather give your money to a fund manager, or you have to invest it into the mutual funds. I'm not a mutual fund advisor or anyone, but this is my point of view. I always try to give my point of views. There are no point of views you should originally take as an investment advice and make investments. Rather, you should go to your investment advisor and ask for an advice. This is solely created for educational purposes. Till then, stay tuned.